रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं कुनयाति परां गतिं वेदवेद्ये पदे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशम् अक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्का भयङ्करं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि आञ्जनेयमदिपाठलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। Sri Rama, understanding that Hanuman was the one who should be seeing Sita, called Hanuman closer to him and gave him the Anguleeya. Dadau tasya datah preetah swanamankopashobhitam Anguleeyam abhijnanam rajaputryaha parantapah. Abhijnanam. Abhijnanam here signifies an identity, that which helps you identify. In English it is insignia. So that which reminds me of another person is abhijnanam. That is why the ring that reminded Dushyanta of himself was called Abhijnana Shakuntalam. So Rama gives Swanamankopashobhitam. I'm sure we would have come across engagement rings being bought these days with those letters engraved on them. So here he says Swanamanka. So the entire name Rama was inscribed on it. Well, after having blessed Hanuman with this, those monkeys went in search. They went in different directions. The team that had Hanuman, Nala, Neela, Jambavan, they came to the south of India. This has been summarized by Bhattadri in Srimad Narayaniyam. He makes the job of Upanyasakars much easy. He himself summarizes it. Sugreevena nujoktya sabhayam abhaita vyuhitam vahinim tam Rikshanam vikshadikshu drutamathadaita marganaya vanamram sandeshanjanguleeyam pavanasutakare pradisho modashali marge marge mamarge kapirabhitada tvatpriya saprayasaihi. As they reached at one point where they thought, beyond this we cannot search Sita, for the very reason that the landmass gets over here, she is not to be found anywhere. And while they lament over their ineptness or their inability to not find Sita, and they also lament about Jatayu sacrificing his life for the sake of Sita, one another vulture happens to hear this conversation, and that vulture was Sampati. So Sampati tells, please tell me more about how my brother lost his life. That is when they detail all the events of Rama, his birth, how he was married to Sita, how they were sent on an exile for 14 years to the forest, and thereby Ravana abducting Sita, and in the due course Jatayu trying his level best to protect Sita from this kidnap, manages to lose his life. This is how they say. Now as they detail Rama's history, biography, Rama's biography in itself is called as Punya Katha. See, imagine, here is one civilization telling that we can get rid of some of our sins by just listening to the life history of one person. There's a beautiful song that I'm reminded of in the Telugu language. Rama Neela Meghashyama Kodanda Rama Raghukula Abdhi Soma Parandhama Sarvabhauma Rama Neela Meghashyama Radhi aina natini jese ni divya padamu Kodinaina jnanini jese ni namamu Jalaika jalanu Ramayya Brovaga Ravayya Teliyatarama Palukavashama Nidu Mahima Raghava Nidu Sharanam Papaharanam Maku Sharanam Raghava Rama Neela Meghashyama. So as they were describing the qualities of Rama along with detailing his biography, something very unique, something that can seem like a miracle happened there. Sampati was a vulture who was the elder brother to Jatayu. At one point in time, while these birds were flying in the stratosphere, maybe above the troposphere, and that's when the scorching rays of the sun were affecting the wings of these brothers. That is when Sampati as an elder brother thought that I should be protective of my younger brother, and with his wings he covered his younger brother, thereby ending up losing his own wings. So for all these years he was unable to fly. He had become old, Jara, and he had no hope of regaining his wings back. And as these monkeys were detailing the life history of Rama, here tells Valmiki that he saw small spurts of his wings sprouting. So this was a Pratyaksha Pramanam of Ramanamam. There is another incident that I am reminded of in Srimad Bhagavatam. The meandering of the Yamuna river caused an oxbow lake of the Yamuna waters, in which there was a very terrific snake that was letting out its virulent poison called as Kalyanam. The poison was of such intensity, of that toxicity, that the shrubs and the plants around that lake also got eventually burnt or dead. When Krishna has made up his mind to bring down the arrogance of Kaliya and send him out from this inhabitation, he goes to the top of a kunda tree that had lost all its leaves. While he stands on it and jumps into the Yamuna waters, Vedanta Deshika says new leaves started sprouting from that place, which is very similar to what happens there. It was Krishna himself. Here it is not Rama, just Ramanamam. So as Sampati is happy, he tells that through his son Suparshva, he was able to learn that Sita must be housed in an island which is 100 yojanas away. And then Jambavan, he of course motivates Hanuman. He tells, see, had I been young, I would have flown. You don't know about me, Hanuman. You are all very young people. When the Lord came as Vamana and then became Trivikrama, I was the one who held a kettle drum onto my waist and went around the world beating around saying that the Lord has won over the world. Maya vairochane yagnye prabha vishnu sanatanaha pradakshini krutav purvam kramamanastra vikramam. As this happens, ends Kishkinda Kandam, and then we enter into the Kalpaka Vriksha, the Kamadhenu, and the Chintamani of Ramayanam called as Sundara Kanda. See, every canto, every chapter in Srimad Ramayanam has been named after the stage that Ramayana takes. For example, the boyhood of Rama, the younger days of Sita, how they met, how they married, how the brothers grew up in their young age together is Bala Kanda. What happened in Ayodhya before the coronation happened, while the coronation was supposed to happen, and why it did not happen is Ayodhya Kanda, because the events happen in Ayodhya. What happened in the forest becomes Aranya Kanda. What happens in a habitat called as Kishkinda becomes Kishkinda Kanda. But here is one Kandam where start till the end, this canto, Sita and Rama are not together. She is in Lanka, he is in Bharatadesham. He is unaware about whether Hanuman would have seen Sita or not. Hanuman doesn't message him every now and then, I'm just traveling, I've crossed Mainaka. This is how we are in that cell phone world, right? There were days when probably people would wait for letters to come if people have reached or not. Now we say the check-in has happened, the boarding is about to happen. So Hanuman did not give such instant updates. So Rama was worried. Sita was absolutely hopeless. Nobody is even informing me what is going to happen next. So while both were separated in different geographies, they were absolutely clueless as to what the future has in store for them. Look at the bravery and the audacity in Valmiki, who calls it Sundara Kanda. See, both of them are separated. Nobody knows how they will rescue each other. But it is called Sundara Kanda. We may think for a moment if Valmiki sounds like a sadist. Why should he call such a event? Because Tilaka, the commentator, gives a beautiful verse. Sundare Sundari Sita, Sundare Sundari Katha, Sundare Sundari Lanka, Sundare Kimna Sundaram, Sundare Sundari Sita, Akshata Marute Mukhat, Shrutva Krishta Tathaivastu Saramaha Satatam Hridi. What is not beautiful in this kandam, asks Tilaka, the commentator. Sundare Sundari Sita. Sita is a Sundari. Who is the Sundara? Rama is a Sundara. Lavanya Ramara Lara Judare Ati Lavanya. Rama is handsome. So he is Sundara. Sita is Sundari. What else is Sundara? The message that was conveyed to Sita, that I shall come and rescue you, do not worry. The message is so beautiful. The message is so beautiful. Where was it conveyed to Sita? In a geography called Lanka, which is Sundaram. I am witness to it. I have taken people to Lanka 4 times. A beautiful country. Hope that country gets back to normalcy and the people are able to live happily. We can only have prayers, because people will say, no, that started burning. Ravana was there. The same geography had a Dharmatma called Vibheeshana. Vibheeshana is to Dharmatma. The Lord of Srirangam looks at Lanka while he sleeps. Tendishai ilangai noki, tells Alvar. So the message, the beautiful message, was carried by Hanuman from Sundara Rama to Sundari Sita, who was housed in Sundara Lanka in a Sundara fashion. There it doesn't end. It ends where? Hanuman's original name was Sundara. He was K. Sundar. His father was Kesari. He was K. Sundar. No, sir. Our பேரு ஆஞ்சநேயர் இல்லையோ? Anjana's son is Anjaneya. See, please understand, Sanskritam as a language gives the facility to associate the son or the daughter based on the father or the mother's name. Drupada's daughter becomes Draupadi. Whoever was a daughter of Drupada will be called Draupadi. Remember this. Because he had one daughter, we associate her with the common noun has become a proper noun. Janaka's daughter is Janaki. Technically, even Urmila is Janaki. She is also Janaka's daughter. In Sri Mahabharatam, many places Bhima will be referred to as Partha. Because his mother was Kunti, whose other name was Pritha. So Pritha's son is Partha, even Bhima is Partha. Vasudevasya Puman Vasudevaha. Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. So Krishna was Vasudeva. So these are all names that come because of their parents. Drona's son will be called? Very good, Droni. So Ashwathama was called Droni. Draunasya viplushtamidam madangam santana bijam kuru pandavanam jugopa kukshim gadiyatta chakraha madhuschame yasharanam gatayaha, says Bhagavatam. Drauni. Ravana's son is called Ravani. Indrajit was called Ravani. So these are all names given because of their parents, but that is not the name as per their birth certificate. Here there is a birth certificate, concept of birth certificate. The birth certificate, that will not be written K. Anjaneya, no. Anjana's son Anjaneya, everybody will just call just like that. Hanuman, no, he was not called Hanuman at birth, because Hanuman becomes a Karana Namam later. He was struck by the Vajra of Indra, so his jaw broke. So that is Hanu. So he was called Hanuman. The one with the fractured jaw, cheek, is called Hanuman. See, no mother would have called her son the one with the fractured cheekbone. See, nobody will name him that way. So it was not Hanuman. So what was his name? Sundara. Now you may wonder, say he was a monkey. How can he be beautiful? In Tamil there is a saying, Kakaikum tan kunju pun kunju. For every mother, her son or daughter is that Miss World, Mr. World. They won't go in search of Aishwarya or Sushmita. Now there is one chiller. For every mother, her children are handsome. So Sundara was his original name. So Sundara Hanuman carried a Sundara Sandesham from Sundara Rama to Sundari Sita, who was housed in Sundara Lanka. So this is called Sundara Kanda. So why should you doubt the name of the Kanda? Asks Tilaka. Tado Ravananitayaha Sitayaha Shatrukarshanaha Yesha Padaman Veshtum Charana Charite Patihi. As soon as Hanuman was motivated, he jumped rock after rock and went to one place where he could kind of show what a majestic form he had. And as he showcased his size, unable to bear the weight and the mammoth size that he showcased, the stones started getting pressed, and thereby the snakes that were hiding below the rocks, they started coming out, and unable to bear the pressure, they started throwing out poison on the stones. So these are all poetic imaginations. Now as he grew in size, the trees, it seems, they started shaking and the flowers started falling down, and on his horripilated head the flower got stuck, and at one point in time it looked as if there was a pushpalankaram done to him. Pushpamayo yatha, tells Valmiki. So at that point in time he prays to his Acharya. Anjalim prangmukham kurvan pavanayatmayo naye tatohi vavridhe gantum dakshino dakshinam disham sa suryaya mahendraya pavanaya swayam bhuve bhutebhyas chanjalim kritva chakara gamane matim. He prayed to Surya because Surya was his teacher. While he taught the fruit that was missing that day, many people have the habit of having mangoes with curd rice. While his mother was giving him curd rice, where I told this somewhere, somebody got offended. They said, why are you telling curd rice? He could have had chapati. Why only curd rice? You are showing you are a South Indian, so you are telling he had curd rice. He grew up in Karnataka. Thank God that I didn't tell Bisi Bedeba. It is. Now you may wonder, sir, curd rice, isn't it a new concept? No. Krishna had curd rice, tells Bhagavatam. Bibhradvenum jatarapataya shringavettecha kakshe vame pano. Left hand he had masrila kabalam, curd rice balls. Tatphalam angulishu. He had vegetable pickle on the other hand. Ruchi or Priya, I don't know. Tishtan madhye swapadi suhrudo hasayan narmabhisvaihi swarge loke mishadi bhuje yajnabhuk balakedihi, tells Shuka Brahmam in Bhagavatam. Now you may ask, then was chapati not there? I don't know about chapati, but wheat was consumed. In Chamakam, after Rudram, we recite Chamakam. Goduma chame, Goduma comes. But nevertheless, he had curd rice, he wanted to have mango. As far as I know, fruits come in certain seasons only. Until now, things have changed. You get every fruit, every vegetable throughout the year. That is why they don't taste well. So, mangoes, he wanted some, probably he wanted Banganapalli or Badami or Mallika, we don't know the variety. He could not spot one. He looked at the rising sun and thought the sun to be the fruit. Balarka bimbamu phalamani batina alari chetala Hanumanta dunari brahma dulache varamulu uliche konina o Hanumanta. உதிக்கின்ற செங்கதிர் உச்சித்திலகம் உணர்வுடையோர் மதிக்கின்ற மாணிக்கம் மாதுளம் போது மலர்க்கமலை துதிக்கின்ற மென்கடி மென்கணி குங்குமத்தோயமென்ன விதிக்கின்ற மேனி அபிராமி எந்தன் விழுத்துணையே. உதிக்கின்ற செங்கதிர். The rising sun looked like Malgova. But Indra could not tolerate. He was power conscious. He gave one hit. So he fell on the ground. He became unconscious. Vayu reduced the proportion of oxygen in the air, 20.08, he reduced it to 16.2. People started running for oxygen cylinder. Then Brahma said, mostly my creation will go away. Please restore 20% of oxygen. So they all bestowed him with boons. Finally, when Surya's turn came, Surya said, see, everybody has given every boon. What boon will I get? Mother said, whichever school I admit him to, they give him TC. So you take him as your student. So Surya said, I keep walking. Will your son walk? My son is hyperactive. He generally runs. So if you are also running, it is a good thing. So as the teacher ran, the student also ran and learned. See, the teacher stands itself to understand the concepts is so tough. Teacher is also running, student is also running. That is why Krishna's dance is very famous. Even the great dancer called Nataraja came and viewed Krishna's dance, because generally when a dancer dances, she or he will dance, stage will not dance. When Krishna danced on Kaliya, stage is also dancing. He is also dancing. Adalai kanathillai ambalathilai vanuntan adalai vittu inge gokulam vandan oru adalina shiryadavane oru mamani hiragani madhavane nee adadu ashangadva. So Hanuman, so the one he prayed to his Acharya Surya, and he left. See, generally this is again prasangika vishayam, irrelevant thing. Generally people say, sir, irrelevant things are more interesting than what you say in Ramayanam. Most civilizations that we know of in history, they will worship the sun. Most. Now the only civilization that has managed to continue the worship of sun is the Indus Valley Vedic Sanātana Dharmaic civilization. Even Egyptian civilization, if you go to Luxor, by the banks of river Nile, there is a temple for the sun god called, what is the sun god called in Egyptian civilization? Ra. So Ra, Ikkad Ra, that Ra. So Surya worship is very prevalent in all civilizations. But today, the landscape of the country has changed due to various political and religious reasons. So the only civilization that celebrates Surya is now Indus Valley civilization. You have Surya Shatakam, Aditya Hridayam, Surya Ashtottara Shatanamavali. So Surya worship is very, very important. Now, he worshipped to Surya and he took off. He took off like a rocket, not like a flight. Flight runs for a certain distance and takes off. He took off like a rocket. He propelled like a rocket. With that force, when he shot up, the shrubs and the herbs around the place where he took off were also uprooted due to that force. They went to a certain distance along with him and came down. Says Valmiki. So, where he tells that the shrubs went for a certain distance and came down, he has to give a simile. He's a poet, right? How? So the shrubs went for a certain distance along with Hanuman and came down due to gravitational pull. You know all that science better. Now, like how, that is where Valmiki tells, like how the host of a house should go outside, bid farewell to the guest and come. Look at the way how he brings in value system into the shloka. So the shrubs wanted to bid farewell to Hanuman, so they went to a certain distance, said bye and then came back. Look at the simile. So through a simile, he is teaching a value system. So as he left, he's propelled, he has to take off on the western route. All this comes in a beautiful poem. Nevertheless, I am very partial to this personality whom I love. His name is Vedanta Deshika. He comes up with a kavyam called Hamsa Sandesham, which I think hopefully tomorrow is Vibheeshana. Yeah, tomorrow it may come. Hamsa Sandesham. He tells what route Hanuman took. So as he starts crossing the oceans, that is when the first obstacle called as Mainakam comes. Mainakam comes and says. Now you may wonder, Mainakam says, what is Mainakam? Mountain. If I say mountain, says, what sir, can mountain speak? Few years back, Ganesha drank milk. Right? It began, I think, if I'm right, way back in 1996 or 95, I don't know. It started in Washington, I think. I don't know where it started. It was very popular. Even during the days when we had no WhatsApp, it spread like wildfire. So, mountain spoke means you are able to communicate with nature. So, these mountains arose from the oceanic waters as if to indicate to Hanuman, see, you may be a bit tired. I have some nice resorts on me. 4 days, 3 nights, 9 only. Come and take rest. Yesha parvata sankashaha Hanuman marutatmajaha titirshati mahavegaha samudram varunalayam. He said, see, while Indra was on a mission to chop off the wings of flying mountains, I was the one who could escape the wrath of Indra because I sought protection under Vayu, who is your biological father. So please, as a mark of gratitude and respect, you stay on my mountain and go. Hanuman said, see, I am on a mission mode to go see Sita. If I come to this resort for 4 days, 3 nights, Italian cuisine, thin crust pizza, then where will I go in search of Sita? So I shall embrace you. For now you take this embrace and then later I will come back. And then he embraced. As he went further, he saw one lady emerge from the oceanic waters. She looked like a demoness. Her name was Surasa. Mama bhaksha pradishtastvam ishwarair vanarshabha aham tvam bhakshaishyami pravishedam mamananam varayesha pura datto mamadhatredi satvara vyadaya vaktram vipulam sthita samarutav puraha. I am hungry. Hanuman said, if you are hungry, go to a nearby restaurant. Why are you telling me? Get inside my mouth. I am hungry. In Vayul Puhuvaye. Hanuman said, I am marking your words. I have to get inside your mouth, right? She said, yes. As she opened her mouth, slowly, he too started increasing his size. You may wonder, is that possible? Technically, it is not. But if you look at some of the bodybuilders, they will try to show their muscles. That time, this normal body, as they show their biceps, will increase in size. Probably they know a part of Ashtama Siddhi. Hanuman knew better, so he now started increasing his size. As she opened to such an extent where her eyes could not look straight but could look only at a gradient, at that point in time, Vayuputrasa Buddhiman, that intelligent monkey, became small in size, went inside her mouth. I don't know if you remember one oil advertisement way back in the 90s. There used to be large puris. One boy will go, that puri will come fall down. So Hanuman was that Lilliput in the Gulliver Travels. So he went inside her mouth. Even before that large drop of saliva could come and hit him, he came out. Sukshma Rupa Dhari Se Aaye Dekhava Bikata Rupa Dhari Lank Jarava Bhima Rupa Dhari Asur Sahare Ramachandra Ke Kaj Savare Laye Sajeevan Lakhan Jiyaye Shri Raghubir Harashi Urlaye Raghupati Kini Bahut Badai Tum Mama Priya Bharat Samabhai Sahas Badan Tumharo Yash Gabe As Kahi Shripati Kantha Lagabe Sanakadik Brahmadi Munisa No Ganiyanu Padla mein यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ ते कभी कोविद कही सके कहाँ ते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. Hanuman came out. And that is when Surasa said, what an intelligent man you are. See, I was sent, Hanuman, to test your skills, whether you have the perseverance, the needed intellect, how to handle situations. So there are some tests in salt analysis that we do in chemistry to test if this is what that salt is. For example, if it's chloride, we do a test called chloromyl chloride test. So these are all tests, confirmatory tests. I had to confirm if you have those skills. You have all of it. May you be successful and achieve it. As he spotted Lanka very close, he thought he's going to land. As he was about to land, there was some turbulence. Why now? He looked down. He saw one demoness who was able to use her powers to attract his shadow, thereby affecting the object, which is Hanuman. Chayayam grihyamanayam chintayamasa vanaraha. Her name was Simhika. So Hanuman, as he was pulled by the Rakshasi, he understood that this is no testing obstacle, this is an obstacle in its real sense. She gave one fistful of hit on his head. This is when he thought, I have never received such a blow. At that point in time, he didn't want to follow Gandhi. Gandhi said, if somebody slaps you on one side, throw the other. He wanted tit for tat, kuttu for kuttu. He gave her one blow and she was dead. Ramanama mane varakadgami virajillu nayya Tyagaraju ge banduri de kolu viyavaya Rama Rama Ramanama mane varakadgami vi Ramanamam ante oka khadgam. It can be used as a weapon. So, as she was dead, he reached Lanka. Now, all this has been mentioned in Ramayana. What is the message here? Sundara Kanda has a very, very similar journey like that of our lives. Hanuman, he came across three obstacles. The first was an obstacle of love called Mainaka. Second was an obstacle that was sent to test his life skills. Third was a real obstacle. The obstacle that came out of sheer love, he won out of love. The obstacle that came out of the one to test his skills, he believed in his intellect to win over it. When the real obstacle came, he believed in the Lord whom he loved. See, when we, probably 30-40 years back, a lot of the elderly Bhaktas, Astikas here will know, if you all have lived in India and then you had to shift to Bharata, to US Pradesham. Technically, the families used to be large, 4 sons, 5 daughters, not too many people to earn money for the family. At that point in time, there would have been a necessity for one son or one daughter to get into a very secure job. So government job was very important. So they will serve the government job for 30-40 years. That was the norm. So later when families started getting thinner, 2 children, 1 child concept, at that point in time, children could have the facility. Today, the generation has the facility to explore. So nobody sticks to this 40 years, one job. Last 2018, if I've come and met one person in one job, 3 years later he'll be in another job. If they are in the same job, at least they are redundant. Correct? So changing job has become the norm. So now everybody wants to have a startup, they will have a company. So generally parents who are used to that one job concept, if the child goes and tells, why do you want to take all these risks? Go to one morning's 8 o'clock job, come back at 6, let us watch one nice 3rd season of Never Have I Ever. It has just been released. Maitreyi will be waiting for us. Why do you want to take up this? Now, this obstacle comes out of sheer love. That time the son or daughter has to convince them out of love. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Shiva Vishnu temple's blessings is there with us. We will do well. So love, obstacle, win it through love. When there is an obstacle that is trying to test your life skills, do it through your intellect. When there is a real obstacle, Ramanama Mane, there is no one who can come to your rescue but the Lord. Simple example, Draupadi was not married to one, she was married to 5 husbands, all gym body people. Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev. While she was being humiliated in her menstruating periods, in the middle of the Sabha, while she was being disrobed, while she cried for help, she could have literally cried, Yudhishthira, Bhim. She knew 5 of them were useless. Dwaraka Nilayachyuta Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam. How far was Krishna? Krishna was 1800 kilometers away in Dwaraka, Gujarat. Kemcho Majama. He was having Thepla, Dhokla, Fafda, Khandvi, all that there. And she was with Dalbati Churma in Hastinapura. She cried, she knew whose name if I call out I will get help. All these 5 people, what will be? He'll put his head down. What will he do? Useless people, if you call out, they won't come for help. In Tamil there is a saying, Vottai Purattukkum Aanai Purattukkum Nadandadam Pudavai Vyavaram. There was a garment business happening between the city of the elephants and the city of the holes, Dwaraka and Hastinapura. Vottai Purattukkum Aanai Purattukkum Nadandadam Pudavai Vyavaram. He was supplying Bandhini silk sarees with patola print. Right? From Gujarat you get that, right? So here, Hanuman cried out the name of the Lord and he was helped. Now he reaches Lanka around 5:45, 6 p.m. He thinks, now I cannot go in my original form, I'll take the size of a cat, not the form of a cat, size of a cat. Surye chastam gate ratrau deham sankshipya marutihi vrishadam shaka matrotha babhuva adbhuta darshanaha. As he thought he had escaped the people's eyes, there came a trident, a trishulam. He looked up. She was the immigration officer of Lanka. Her name was Lankini. She said, show your passport. He said, see, in Bharata Desham, they don't give Aadhaar card and passport for monkeys like us. She asked, did you not visit Bengal? You get that there. So, he said, I don't have anything. What have you come here for? Vananyupavanani ha lankaya ha kananani cha sarvato griha mukhyani drashtuma gamanam hime. I saw some nice tourism brochures of Lanka where it said there are beautiful forests, national parks in Lanka. I have come as a tourist. She said, nothing doing, you don't have valid documents. And she gave him one blow. As a Rama Bhakta he has come, he is getting the second blow. This is the Prasadam, Rama Prasadam. Hanuman thought, why even under my teacher I did not get so many blows? Who are these people to give me? He just rose high up in the sky and gave her one. She should have got angry. This should have been her instantaneous reaction. She wasn't. She was able to recollect what she had forgotten. See, generally when people talk to us, if they have to say something important, they will look at us and they'll say, they will hit themselves. See, only if we hit them, it is wrong. If they hit themselves, it is okay. That is one way of remembering things. After my stint in Pilani, I stayed in Bombay for 5.5 years. So I used to live in a place called as Matunga. And then I had to ply for my work to Vikhroli. So during Navaratri, people used to invite me to their houses to do Sundara Kanda Parayanam. So I used to finish Sundara Kanda Parayanam and then used to go to office. So in Chembur, I was called, there was a very nice couple, aged couple, very good Dampati. They used to call me year after year. The 1 year that I went, the husband and the wife were not speaking with each other. I don't know, they had some tiff, I believe. I was the messenger. Kabutar ja ja ja. Amshiraya madanarai adiyattai neeyum nin amshiraya sevarumai avaven nenakkaruli vemshiraya pulluyartharku envidududai sennakkal vanshirayil avan vaikil vaipundal encheyyumo tells Nammalvar in the 4th decade of the first Thiruvaimozhi. So that day I had to log in to my system. My laptop did not work, so I said, Madam, can I use your desktop? She said, no problem, please come. I was searching where that desktop was. She took Mama's dhoti. Because Mama's dhoti is a multi-purpose dhoti. It can be used to cover the desktop also. Ishavasyam idam sarvam, she opened, the desktop was visible. So the moment I saw the desktop, I started typing on the keyboard. So things were working, but there was no visibility on the screen. I called that mommy, the desktop is not working. She gave one blow to it. She said, this desktop is just like him. Both need blows. So, Sita nimittam yajnastu ravanasya duratmanaha rakshasam chaiva sarvesham vinashaha samupagataha. I was deputed here out of curse, Hanuman. And I asked, when can I get my last day? That is, when can I get out of this job? Brahma said, when an extraordinary monkey comes and gives you a blow, you get out of the job. Now there won't be any more immigration officer. I am coming out of Lanka. You shall be successful. Best wishes. Stay in touch. The world is small. See ya, Mua, and she left. Chatushalam chaturdvaram sarvato bhadra sangitam paschimādvarahitam nandadyavartahyaham tad dakshinādvarahitam vardhamanam dhanapradam. So once he got inside Lanka, for a moment Hanuman thought, this Lanka looks so prosperous and so well guarded. Will Rama be able to come here and win over this Ravana? For a moment he thought, that well administered Lanka was. So when people ask, tell me about Ravana, he was a very good administrator, very well read man. Character alone, lose character. Me too. So Nitta niyama tozhil mudithu neduvanathu uttamar uranginar. As he got into Lanka and was looking at its well flourishing streets, by then people had started going into sleep. So it was mostly around 10 p.m. that he started searching when people would start sleeping. So he says, he describes in the Tamil Ramayanam, Kamban gives a vivid description of who all slept in the city. Nitta niyama tozhil mudithu neduvanathu uttamar uranginargal. Good people slept. Yogigal tuindrar. Yogi also slept. Mattamadavem Kaliru urangiyadu. The royal elephant too slept. Pittarum uranginar. Even the man who is mentally retarded too slept. So at that point in time, I am reminded of another poem of Oliver Goldsmith, who says how London used to be in the night. He says, the clock has just struck 2. The expiring taper rises and sinks in the socket. The watchman forgets the hour in slumber. The drunkard once more fills the destroying bow. The robber walks his midnight round, and the suicide lifts his guilty arm against his own sacred person. The laborious and the happy are at rest, and nothing wakes but meditation, guilt, revelry, and despair. So Oliver Goldsmith says, in the mid of the night in London, everybody slept except the mentally retarded man. Whereas Kamban tells in Lanka, even the retarded man slept, telling that Lanka was a better tourist destination than London in those days. Someone said the flights are also getting cancelled too. Now, Hanuman thought of Sita. How should Sita be? Avyakta rekham iva chandra rekham pramsuf pradugdham iva hema rekham kshatrah prarudham iva varna rekham vayu prabhugnam iva megha rekham. She must be like the cloud that is afflicted with more water droplets than what it can bear. She must be looking like the beautiful countenance of the moon, but that still has scars on it. She must be laden with dust because she must be thinking of Rama and must have not taken bath all these days. So this is his description of Sita. Now he goes in search of Sita. Tulasidas here gives a beautiful intervention. He tells, as he kept seeing, he came across Vibheeshana's house. Valmiki doesn't mention this. Tulsidas tells, he tells that Vibheeshana's house, how could Hanuman recognize? Because that house alone had Tulasi plant outside, it seems. Bhavan ek puni dekh suhava Hari mandir dharm bhin banawa Rama yudh ankit grih shobha varanin jaye Nav tulsi ka brind tah dekhi harsh kapirai. Then he saw Pushpaka Vimanam in the hangar. So he thought this must be the flight of Ravana. Originally it belonged to Kubera, but Ravana, the half-brother, used an opportunity to show his prowess and seized it from Kubera. Inside Pushpaka Vimanam was a beautiful Sannidhanam for Lakshmi. So that time Hanuman thought, what is this man? He's having Lakshmi inside the Pushpaka Vimanam, but he has kidnapped Lakshmi. Then, as he searched house after house, he gets into Ravana's presidential suite. There is a beautiful bed made of ivory, and on that is a beautiful mattress. Andal describes, Kuttu vilakeriya kotukkal kattil mel mettendra pancha shayanatin meleri kuttalar பூங்குழல் நப்பினை கொங்கை மேல் வைத்து கிடந்த மலர் மார்பாய் திரவாய் கொட்டுக்கால் கட்டில், ivory used bed. So on that bed he saw a man with lot of scars on his chest. As he went closer, he could diagnose that these scars looked like the one that has been caused because of the tusks of Airavata, the one who has fought Indra. This must be Ravana. Next to him, embracing him, was a lady decked in beautiful jewelry. Then for a moment he thought, this is Sita. He got so excited that he has spotted Sita. He took his tail, kissed it many times. He went atop the pillar, came down. Asbotayama, Sachuchumba Puchanananda Chikrida, Jago Jagama, Stambana Roham, Ibabana Bhumam, Nidashayam Swam, Prakadim Kapinam. Valmiki tells he showed the true nature of a monkey. See, calm and poised people will never get excited on small things. He thought he has seen Sita. Then he realizes, will Rama Patni be embracing Ravana and will be sleeping? This must not be Sita. He concludes. What does Sundara Kanda tell us? We may make decisions which may seem good at that point, but later we should give a thought whether it was right or wrong. That is very important. Just because we have made a decision, it doesn't mean it should not be reversed. Think again. What Hanuman does is a big lesson for us. He could have concluded, but then he says, no, let me search. This cannot be Sita. How could Rama Patni be sleeping next to Ravana, that too happily, fully decked? This must not be Sita. Then he wants to go in search of her. He goes to the kitchen of Ravana. We have seen in many movies, the hero, the villain will kidnap the heroine and keep her next to large vessels. So, what all dishes were cooked that night he mentions. Mriganam, Mahishanam cha, deer meat was cooked. Mahishanam, buffalo meat. Varahanam cha bhagashaha, pork. Tatranyastani mamsani, pana bhumau dadarshyasaha. The country liquor was placed. Mamsani, pana bhumau. Raukmeshu cha vishaleshu bhajaneshvabhyavakshitan dadarshya kapishardulo mayuran kakkutanstata. Mayuran, peacock flesh was cooked. Some porucha kuttu was made out of it. Now, then he saw the women who had had a nice December 31st night, and they were laden fully surrounded by liquor. They were all sleeping. One lady's feet was placed over the thighs of the other. The other lady's upper garment was completely off. Hanuman had to search. Then he thought, I am a brahmachari. What all drishyam am I seeing? Then he thought, see, it is my duty to go and check Sita. In this process, I have to see them. But nothing will happen to my dharma because I am duty conscious here. I am not being diverted by these people here. And as he went in search of Sita, one place after the other, he finally concluded, I've searched the entire Lanka. And I was not able to spot Sita. But if I inform that I have not been able to see Sita, Rama will die. If Rama dies, Lakshmana will die. Both these of them die, Sugreeva will die. If Sugreeva dies, Tara and Rama will die. If Tara and Rama dies, Angada will die. If Angada dies, all the monkeys will die. Upon hearing the death of so many people, the three mothers will die. Then Bharata will die, Shatrughna will die. Then the citizens of Ayodhya will die. So my one word that I was not able to see Sita will cause agony to so many people. So let me revisit this process of searching. Again another lesson. What decisions we make, we shouldn't be selfish. We should check if it is good to me and my family. Maybe there is a thought in some pockets of the Western philosophy where they say just be independent, which is wrong. You were not born exactly from the heaven. You didn't jump from the heaven. There were some people who were your causes. There are people who have nurtured you. Make decisions which are fairly conducive to people around you as well. If that is made, probably even nations don't have to fight. So Hanuman, he thought for some time, I should go in search of Sita. At that point in time, before that, Hanuman thought of ending his life. See, Hanuman goes to the extent of suicide. Sagaranupaje deshe bahumula phalodake chittim kritva pravekshyami. Instead of informing that I have not been able to see Sita, let me fall into fire, he thinks. Then he thinks, no. There is one place that I see from a distance which I think I have not checked. Let me go to that place. Outside the board was written, Ashoka Vanam. He jumps tree after tree. Then finally searching that Upavanam, he ends up in one large tree called Shimshupa Vriksham. He prays, I don't know why I have not been able to spot Sita. Maybe I might have prayed to Rama, I might have prayed to my Acharya Surya, but I did not do Sharanagathy to Sarvaloka Janani Mata Mahalakshmi. I am coming in search of her and I should perform Sharanagathy to her feet. Namostu Ramaya sa Lakshmanaya Devyai cha tasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhya Namostu Chandra Agnimarudganebhya Vahini tava sute vitara kushalamayi Dehi tava gaseva mohana dhame Rame pahi jaga janani Pahimam karunaya pankhe ruhanayane Amba pahi jaga janani. As he prayed to Lakshmi and looked down, Vidhutakeshi yuvatiryatha mriditta varnaka Nipita shubhadandoshti nakhai dantaischa vikshata. As he looked down, he was able to see one lady whom he thought he had imagined that way. She was not sleeping and everybody else around her was sleeping. She was just looking into one direction and Hanuman thought, which direction could she be looking into? Ekastha hridayanunam rameva anupashyati. She presumed that this must be the direction where Rama must be seated and she was looking only to that direction. Ekastha hridayanunam rameva anupashyati. And as he looks like this and like that, for him he has never seen human women. See, you should understand his problem. He has seen only Tara and Rama. He has not seen any of the human women. So first of all, he has to decipher this is a human woman. And then he has to check if this could be Sita. Tarkayamasa Siteti Karanai Rupapadivihi. He found out through logical reasoning that this must be Sita. How? He has seen the jewelry that had fallen. If the same jewelry had been found on her body, that means that must be somebody else. See, after being kidnapped, she would have not gone shopping in Lanka to buy the same jewelry. Correct? Tarkayamasa Siteti. There was a part of the pallu which had come. The same sari was here. So Tarkayamasa Siteti. This must be Sita. Now his initial thought before he had started to Lanka was, why is this Rama lamenting over his wife Sita's abduction? If there is no Sita, there is one Gita, he thought. Now, after having seen Sita just for the first time, not even talking to her, now he concludes. I thereby conclude, he says, Dushkaram kritavan Ramaha hinoya danaya prabhu dharayat yatmano deham nashoke navasidati. He concludes, this Rama must be the hard-hearted man who manages to survive after losing a great lady such as this. What is his conclusion? Dushkaram kritavan Rama. So after having concluded this, he now looks down further. He bends his neck. He is able to see her profile. Then her face. Now he does a jodi making. He checks whether this Sita is exactly a match for Rama or not. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam Tulya Abhijana Lakshanam Raghavor Hati Vaidehim Tanchayam Asidekshana. What a beautiful verse. He says, I am now seeing Sita, I have already seen Rama. Let me check if they make a good pair, good couple. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. By Sheela, by qualities. Just by looking at them, having moved with Rama, I can absolutely conclude that there is a beautiful match on the basis of qualities between them. Tulya Sheela Vayaha. Age. Though she was 6, age 12, it seemed like a good couple. Two of them walk into the elevator. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam Tulya Abhijana Lakshanam. The family background seems to be a good match. In those days when there were assisted and arranged marriages, they will have an opportunity to check. They will check what family they belong to. Tulya Abhijana Lakshanam Raghavor Hati Vaidehi. Oh, Hanuman concludes, for that Raghukula Rama Raghava, it is this Vaidehi who is the match. He concludes there. You buy any translation, you will get the same meaning. Open quotes. Thereby, through the qualities, familial background and age, Sita is a good match to Rama. Close quote. Concludes Hanuman. This is how translations will be. But there is one point which the translation can't do. He says, for the beautiful eyed Sita, Rama is a match in his qualities, age and familial background, which means there is a match between the two on all aspects except the eyes. That is what it means. For the beautiful eyed Sita, Rama is a match in all these qualities. Why? For this, see, Indian literature, be it Sanskritam or the regional languages like Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Awadhi, Marathi, whenever poetry comes into picture, they will give a vivid description of the man and the woman, especially if they are the Nayaka and the Nayika. They talk about the eyes, and eyes are generally compared to the petals of a blossoming lotus. Kanjalayatakshi Kamakshi Kamala Manohari Tripura Sundari Kanjalaya Kunjaragamane. Then they will talk about the gate. Kunjaragamane Manimandita Manjula Charane Mama Shiva Panjara Shukhi Pankaja Mukhi Guru Guharanjani Durita Bhanjani Niranjani Kanjara Layatakshi Venkatachala Nilayam Vaikuntha Pura Vasam Pankaja Netram. உங்கள் புழக்கடை தோட்டத்து வாதியுள் செங்கழ் நீர்வாய் நிகழ்ந்து ஆம்பல் வாய் கூம்பினக்காள் செங்கல் பொடி கூரை வெண்பல் தவர் தங்கள் திரு கோயில் சங்கிடுவான் போதந்தார் எங்களை முன்னம் எழுப்புவான் வாய் பேசும் நங்காய் எழுந்திராய் நாணாதாய் நாவுடையாய் சங்கொடு சக்கரம் ஏந்தும் தட கையன் பங்கையர் கண்ணானை பங்கஜ நேத்ரம் கஞ்சரள யதாக்ஷி. They have to give example of lotus. Now, when they describe Sita, Hanuman tells for the beautiful eyed Sita, Rama is a match, which means Rama doesn't have beautiful eyes. Why? There is a beautiful incident which in Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam we mentioned 1000 years back. In the holy town of Srirangam, there was a great scholar of great scholastic achievements called as Parashara Bhatta. He was called Nadamadum Panini. Walking encyclopedia in Sanskrit grammar, such people existed. So he was the son of Kuresha. In Tamil he is called Kurattalvan. Mozhiyai kadakkum perumpugalan vanjamukkurumbam kuliyai kadakkum nam Kurattalvan sharan koodiya pin tells Amudanar. So while he used to, I don't know how many of you have visited Srirangam. How many of you are yet to visit Srirangam? Please do. Put that in the wish list. There is already Lalita jewellery, Pothis, all that will be there. Kanakavalli, Vijayavalli, Mahavalli, every valli will wait for us. Visit Srirangam. See, when you go to Bharatadesham, I know you have a family here. This is your nation. You have chosen this. Agree. But use that little time. Maybe even if you get 2 weeks, use that for the beautiful temples. See, we cannot construct such temples. I can vouch that none of the US organizations also can construct such temples. Don't think I am showing arrogance. What architecture, what machines did we have? You go, if I talk about architecture, I go on a different mode. Chalukyan architecture, Hoysala, Vijayanagara, Kakatiya, you visit the Ramappa temple, how beautiful. You visit the Rani Ka Vav near Patan in Gujarat. You should see, around 1000 years before, I think it's the Chalukya dynasty, not Chalukya. Chalukyas are in the south. Chalukya dynasty, there was a lady who, if I'm right, Udayamati, she had constructed this stepwell as a gift for her husband who had to come from a war. It's not one small return gift, IKEA gift. No. It was a stepwell. You go see that stepwell. That stepwell is the inspiration to Gujarat's textile patterns. It's called patola. You go to that stepwell, you get all those designs here. Saurashtra people, when they had to flee to Madurai, they came up with Shungudi. You visit Madurai Meenakshi, what architecture? You visit Srirangam. I can go on as a separate presentation to tell how architecture evolved when most nations didn't exist. There we were constructing the most beautiful of all monuments. Do not go by the traffic today, the plastic which is thrown. Yes, these are all problems which the nation needs to solve. But as a civilization, the architecture is exquisite. And it's a living civilization. You go to Egypt, the civilization is there, the Sphinx is there, but nobody who lived during the Sphinx culture practiced that culture. This is a living civilization. Well, if you go to Srirangam, Srirangam doesn't have a temple within itself. The town is inside the temple. So, your houses will be within the temple. So, Parashara Bhatta used to have a glimpse of Mahalakshmi there. She is called Ranganayaki. Matar Maithili Rakshasi Stvadidadaiva Ardra Paradastvaya Rakshantya Pavanatmaja Lagutara Ramasya Goshti Krita Kakam Tancha Vibheeshanam. Time is going. Vibheeshanam Sharanamityukti Kshamau Rakshataha. So, he used to go to the Sannidhi of Ranganayaki, shop for his house. You get very good vegetables in Srirangam. He used to shop good vegetables. He used to go to the Sannidhi of Ranganayaki and then he used to exit through the white Gopuram. It's called Vellai Gopuram. He used to get out. So this was very, very insulting to the Lord. he visits Ranganayaki and not him. So he thought maybe he likes her, the female. So one day in a year, the Lord assumes the form of Mohini. It's called Mohini Alankaram, which is the previous day to Vaikuntha Ekadashi. So the Utsava Murti of Ranganatha will be dressed like Mohini, a lady. All the jewellery of Mahalakshmi from her walk-in wardrobe will come here. So the Lord chose that day and he called his priest to go call Parashara Bhatta, so that Parashara Bhatta falls in love with his form. You like her, right? I am like her today, call him. So Parashara Bhatta was called. Parashara Bhatta, for the first time he is coming to the Sannidhi of Ranganatha, head to toe, he looked at the Lord. Wow, exactly like Mahalakshmi. He gave a laugh, a guffaw and went away. The Lord said, come here. Why did you give that sarcastic laugh? I am dressed like Mahalakshmi. Yeah, you are dressed very well like Mahalakshmi. Same sari, same korvai, same mountain border. Everything is like Mahalakshmi. But her eyes are filled with mercy. But your eyes don't show that mercy at all. Your eyes are given away, telling that you are not Mahalakshmi or Vishnu. Tanchayam asidekshana yen piratti in parvai ummal vilika unnade. My Mahalakshmi's graceful eyes cannot come in you. So Parashara Bhatta. So this is given as an insight why Hanuman said for the beautiful light Sita, Rama is a match in all these things. So he can never get the eyes. So till now we were in Rama Goshti. Now we have gone to Amma's party. So after having seen, until now he is not even gone down to check how Sita is, what to do with her, what should he do. Then he is looking at the Rakshasis around. Yekakshi, Mekakarnam cha, Karna Pravaram tatha Akarnam, Shankukarnam cha, Mastakochavasanāsikām, Adhikāyottamāngīm cha, Tanudirga Shirodharam, Dvastakeshi, Tatakeshi, Keshalambadadharini. Different kinds of Rakshasis, different dresses. Each one had one eye, 1 ear. Each one was a Drishyam where you cannot sleep for nights. If you look at them, such Rakshasis were around Sita. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam Sita. These were the people. Hanuman thought, what bad time has come for her. Then, as he was wondering what to do, thum 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 thum, in the mid of the night there was kettle drums that was hit to give an announcement that Ravana was coming. 12:45 in the night. He adjusted his upper garment. Mathito mritapena brahmaravjo vastramuttamam sapushpam avakarshantam vimuktam saktamangade. He checked if everything is fine. Perfume. He's coming to Sita's place, right? To tell her, marry me. He's been doing this every night. Every day he'll come tell the same dialogues. Now he tells, see, I have other wives. He tells, but you will be the principal among them. Marry me. Shameless man. Huh? I will not touch you. He tells as if he has that gentleman habits in him. I told you. He had a curse upon him that he should not force a woman. So, but he thought Sita must not be aware. She must not be reading newspapers. Evam chaiva mamagamam tvam naja prashyami maithili. I will not touch you, Maithili. You should come on your own accord and say, Ravana, I have fallen in love with you. Sita, she did not even look at him. She plucked one blade of grass and kept it in the middle and turned. Trinamantaratah kritva pratyuvacha shuchismita nivartaya manomattaha swajane priyatam manaha. Trinam antaratah kritva. She took one blade of grass. 25 reasons have been given by the commentator why she kept a blade of grass. I cannot explain the entire thing. This verse itself will take 2 hours. Trinamantarata kritva. My father Ravana has advised, a great voracious reader and a practicer. My father Janaka has said, Sita, my daughter, if a learned person comes in front of you and if you have to offer him a seat and you don't have a seat at that moment, keep a blade of grass which is equivalent to a seat. Trinamantarata kritva. My dear daughter, if you see a person who is not conducive enough for you to talk and you don't want to look at him and you want to draw a curtain, and if you don't have a curtain in front of you, keep a blade of grass. My dear daughter, Janaka told, it seems, if you keep advising a person and all your advices falls on the deaf ears of the person and the person is not ready to be corrected and he is incorrigible, irreparable and irreversible, think him to be a cow that consumes only grass. Sita wanted to tell him, you keep giving me hordes of silk clothes and ornaments every day to probably lure me. All this is like a blade of grass in front of me. Hey Ravana, you think that my consort Rama is not here. I am sure you will be aware through reading incidents in the public domain that Indra's son Kaka wanted to assault me and he did. At that point in time, Rama took a blade of grass, did the mantrocharanam and made it a brahmastram. That Rama is not very far. You've brought me to a very neighboring country to India. If he comes and now does a Brahmastra mantra ucharanam, even this blade of grass can turn into an astram. Trinamantarata kritva. Ravana, I am sure you would have read the Puranas. At one point in time, there was a devout person called Prahlada who said, Sarvatra asti sada asti. Tunilum ulan, turumbilum ulan, to prove, to make the words of his devotees true and to exemplify it. At that point in time, Satyam Vidhatum, Nijabhritya Bhashitam, he said, Satapatala Bhishane, Sarabhasa Attahasodbhate, Spurat Kriti, Parisputat Drukutikepi Vaktre Krite, Kripa Kapatakesarim, Danuja Dimba Dattastana, Saroja Sadrisha Vyatibhishajyate Vyajyate, arose the Lord from the pillar to prove, mark the words of his devotees right. He came as Narasimha from the blade of grass. Today he can come as Raghava Simha. Trinamaltarata Kritva. So, as she keeps giving these reasons, she tells, how much ever I tell, you are not going to listen. Right? You have made up your mind not to correct yourself and you have walked into the path of destruction. So she laughed. Trinamaltarata kritva pratyuvacha shuchismita. She laughed, it seems. Nivartaya manomattaha. You have decided not to correct your mind. So be rest assured that you shall walk to the path of your ancestors and you'll be meeting them soon. So, as Sita told all this, she said, see, you seem to have the thought that you can separate me from Rama. Bhaskaro prabhayata. How the rays of the sun cannot be separated from the sun? You can never manage to separate me from my husband. He is in my thought. Trivitkaranam, always he is in my mind. So you please do not have this thought that you can turn me into your consort just like how you have done with other women. I am not amongst the other women that you know of. I am the wife of that ruler of this earth. Why will I fall into a person's arms such as you? Even now, Ravana, I will bear no ill feeling towards you. You send a message to him. Ravana, by mistake I brought your wife. Rama, I brought my wife by mistake. Please let us be Facebook friends. He will become good friends with you. Mitram aupaiktum kartum. He believes in friendship. He will become friends with you. Ravana turned towards her and said, I will give you 2 months time, 60 days. If you don't happen to be my wife, the 61st day, you shall be cooked for my breakfast. I shall, if I can't experience you, I'll at least consume you. Dvaumasau rakshitavyo me yovadhiste maya kritaha. He then told the Rakshasis, take care of her. Cutting Ravi, soda bottle, Sagar, Baboli, they were all ready. Then as he leaves, now she starts to think of those women whom she thought as her role models. Dino va rajyahino va yo me bharta same guru tam nityam anuragtasmi yatha suryam suvarchala yatha shachi mahabhaga shakram samupatishtati arundhati vasishtham cha rohinim shashinam yatha lopa mudra yatha gastyam sukanya chyavanam yatha savitri satyavantam cha kapilam srimati yatha sauda sammadayantiva keshini sagaram yatha naishadham damayantiva bhaini pati manuvrata tatha ikshvakuvaram ramam pati manuvrata. Let Arundhati, whom I have thought, Lopamudra, whom I have thought, Suvarchala, whom I have thought, Srimati, whom I have thought, Sukanya, whom I have thought, Damayanti, whom I have thought, all these women give me the courage to fight against this force who's trying to be autocratic in nature. Here, I would like to quote some of the verses, what great people have told about Sita. Srinivasa Shastri tells in his lectures on Ramayana, no, it's a verbatim quote, no woman that I have read of, certainly no woman that I have seen, comes near Valmiki's conception of Sita. She is unapproachable. She is a piece of nature like which there was and can be none. Vivekananda tells, the height of a woman's ambition is to be like Sita, the pure, the devoted, the all-suffering. West has solved the problem of how much a man can have. India has solved the problem of how little a man can have. Sita is typical of India. Sita is the name in India for everything that is good, pure and holy. Sita was a true Indian by nature, says Swami Vivekananda. While the demonesses who were housed in Ashokavanam wanted to threaten Sita, that is when comes the leader of that group. Hey, stop it! Go that side! Who is that? Vibheeshana's daughter, Trijata. She tells, see, in these early hours of morning, I dreamt. What did I dream? I dreamt of my Periyappa, my uncle. Doddappa anta kannadadalli ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ತೆಲುಗುలో ಏಮಿ? Peddappa, Peddanana, Doddappa, Periyappa. In Hindi? Dauji. So, all these, she said, see, I dreamt of our Dauji, alias Periyappa, alias Doddappa, alias Peddanana, that he was tonsured, smeared in cow dung and oil, sitting on a donkey, going in the southern direction. I dreamt of Ravana that way. And on the other hand, I dreamt of Sita seated along with Rama on a golden asanam and touching the rays of the sun in the northern horizon. See, as per Shastram, there is something called as phalam for dreams as well. For dreams also there is a phalam. But that can be applicable only if you follow Shastram throughout your life. Just because I have seen a dream, sir, I saw a dream of a monkey, what to do? Even I saw a dream of a monkey, what can I do? Like how we are, we get to see animals of our nature. Right? So for us, we cannot do interpretation for dreams. No, Trijata had a dream. So, as she dreamt, she said, all Rakshasis, be careful. If you threaten her, in a few days Rama may win the war, and that time they will make a nice chutney of you all. Seek refuge, asylum at her feet. That time Sita said, did you really dream that Rama will come? She said, yes, why should I lie, Sita? That time Sita said, don't worry, I will offer Abhaya Pradanam to these Rakshasis now itself. Nothing will happen to them. Don't worry. And as she was telling this, the Rakshasis went back to sleep. Sita was still perplexed. See, though she may have the confidence that Rama may come, she has seen a dream, she has got no message from Rama's side. She is checking WhatsApp every now and then. No blue tick, no single tick, no network itself available. It was foreign SIM card. Then she thought, it is high time that I commit suicide. She had long hair. What is that fable? Rapunzel. Like Rapunzel, she had long braid. So she tied it around her neck, tied it to the branch of a tree, and was about to commit suicide. And atop the same tree was Hanuman. Look at Hanuman's tail. He has flown miles together to meet her, and right in front of his eyes, she is committing suicide. So he was doubtful what to do. If he tells Mata, Mother, don't kill yourself, please. Looking at a monkey talking in Sanskritam, she may get a massive attack in Delhi. Yadi vacham pradasyami dvijatiriva samskritam. The word. If I talk in Sanskritam, what will be her reaction? Ravanam manyamanamam Sita bhita bhavishyati. Sita bhita, she will get frightened. But I have to tell her, if I tell her don't kill yourself, she may die out of attack. But I cannot keep witness. Okay, let her commit suicide. What to do? I can't be that way. Pranatyagascha vaidehya bhavedana bhibhashane. What to do now? He did not know how to convince her. That is when he thought, I will use this. So Sita is about to commit suicide. Her legs were about to go away from the small stone which was supportive of her. While she was about to commit suicide, Raja Dasharatho Namarata Kunjaravajiman. There was a great king called Dasharatha. Now she is worried. Where is 93.4 FM coming? This radio is band station in Lanka. Now he said, I will not speak in Sanskritam. Next verse, Valmiki tells he spoke in the language of the commoners, and that language was a sweet language. Commentators suggest that it could be Tamil, because Agastya had come by then. Now you may ask, was Tamil prevalent in those days? Yes. I'll give various proof for that. One of the languages which is as old or probably older, as old or older as Sanskritam is Tamil. There is extensive proof for that. So, he must have spoken in Tamil. When he has spoken in Tamil, I should do that duty. Dasharathar endra oru raja irundaram, avarukku Kausalya Kaikeyi Sumitra endra pattinigalam. அந்த யஜ்ஞம் செய்த பிறகு வந்த பாயசத்தை பிரித்து கொடுக்க அதன் வழியாக பிறந்த ராமனாம் இலக்குவனாம் பரதனாம் சத்ருக்னனாம் நால்வரும் திருமணமாகி சந்தோஷமாக வாழும் போது மந்தரை என்பாள் வந்தவள் தான் வந்து கலக்கியமா மனத்தரளாய் கைகேஷி வரம் வேண்ட என்று அவளும் வரம் கேட்டாளாம். ஏனிழையும் இளங்கோவும் பின்பு போக எவ்வாறு நடந்தன எம்மிராமாவோ என்று தசரதன் கதற மூவரும் அந்த வனம் ஏகி வர வால்மீகி அகஸ்ய சுதீக்ஷ்ண சரபங்காதிகளை கண்டு சந்தோஷமாக அந்த மைதிலியும் ராமனோடு வசித்து வர ஒரு நாள் சூர்பனகை வந்து அவளும் காமுக்கு அறிந்து தான கரதூஷணாதிகளிடம் சென்று ஏகஸ்ச ராமோ தர்மாத்மா கதம் யுத்தம் பவிஷ்யதி என்று ரிஷிகள் விஸ்மயித்திருக்க 1.5 முகூர்த்த காலத்தில் அசகாய சூரனாய் அனபாய சாகசனாய் ராமனும் அரக்கர்களை வென்று ராவணனும் மாரீச்சனை பொன்மானாக ஏவி அந்த மானும் தான் சீதை இடத்தில் சென்று அவளும் தான் மானை பிரார்த்திக்க அந்த மான் வேண்டும் என்று கேட்க அந்த மான் கேட்டால் அண்டமான் வரப்போவீர்கள் என்று இலக்குவனும் சொல்ல அந்த ராமனும் பின்தொடர இந்த இலக்குவனும் பின்தொடர பரிவ்ராஜக வேஷத்தில் சந்நியாசி வேடம் பூண்டு வந்த ராவணனும் சீதையை கடத்தி செல்ல ஐயோ சீதை எங்கு சென்றாளோ என்று ராமனும் தேடி வர ஜடாயுவுக்கு மோட்சம் கொடுத்து சபரி மோட்சத்துக்கு சாட்சியாக இருந்து சுக்ரீவனுடன் சக்கியம் செய்து வாலியை கொன்னு சுக்ரீவனை ராஜாவாக்கி குரங்குகளை தேட அனுப்ப அஞ்சனை புத்திரனாம் கேசரி நந்தனாம் அந்த வாயு புத்திரனான ஹனுமான் சீதையை தேடி வந்து எங்கெங்கோ சென்று இளைத்து ஆறி சிம்சுபா விருட்சத்தின் உச்சியில் அமர்ந்து அம்மா உன்னை சேவித்து Kondirikire Nindra. She looked to the top and there he looked towards the bottom. Because all these incidents in the later half of the description, Sita had not known whether Jatayu was given Moksham, who is come. Then he tells, I am a monkey, so that she won't get the shock. As he looked to the top, she looked to the top and he looked to the bottom, he did a namaskaram. Mata, and then he came down. As Hanuman came down, Sita was very doubtful. Now she does full security check. When Ravana came, she didn't ask for any identity. She was caught kidnapped. Now she tells, show me your card. Where have you come from? What is your social security number? Are you filing taxes or not? Are you pleading in the 5th Amendment? What? Kanu Padma Palashakshi Klishta Kausheya Vasini Drumasya Shagama Labhya. Now it's Hanuman's mother. First of all, you tell me whether you are Rama's wife. Because after talking to you for such a long time, if you tell no, I am not Sita from Uttar Pradesh. I am Sita from Maharashtra. Then what will I do? Then where will I go in search of J Sita? Now you tell me first of all. She said, yes, I am Ramapatni. Who are you? I am a monkey. Hanuman, my name is Hanuman. Rama has sent me in search of you, Mata. Now you have to prove. Kvate Ramena Samsargaha Katam Janasi Lakshmanam Vanaranam Naranam Va Kathamasit Samagamaha. You are a monkey. My husband is a human. First of all, when did humans start enjoying friendship with monkeys? Vanaranam Naranam Va Kathamasit Samagamaha. Her thought, see, very intelligent. Sita doesn't ask. What was the question? How did both of you become friends? That was not her implication. In Ramayanam, there was an understanding between Rama and Sita. Without Sita acknowledging, accepting and gracing a devotee, Rama will not accept the devotee. So Sita was of the doubt, you are saying you have been accepted by Rama. But I have not blessed you all. How did? But she could not ask this question directly, which will also bring out the private conversations that she has had with her. So she's asking, how did the humans and monkeys get together? Now, Hanuman, who knows how to read between the lines, knew how to answer this. If I had been in Hanuman's position, what question you're asking? You know what Hanuman does? He says, Mata, how can you say that? We did not enjoy friendship with Rama just like that. You were flying atop our region. You looked down at us and gave us the grace and jewelry. It is because of your grace we became friends with Rama. Look at how Navavyakarana Pandita talks. This is what makes him Hanuman. That art of speaking. You know what to ask and you know what to reply. Then she asks, describe Rama to me. Tell me what is his height. Tell me how his eyes look. See, before Hanuman leaves, Rama, come here, I have to measure your height. What is your weight? Will he do all this? Hanuman tells, you know what is Rama's height? 8 feet. He tells, Rama's height is 8 feet. How? 8 feet till the fan? That is Rama's height. Now, how are his eyes? Hanuman is a good speaker. He could have said it looks like the newly blossomed lotuses petal gambhiram basamudbhuta sumrishtana alarabika ravikasita pundari kadala amala yadekshanaha kadiyavagi pode parandimudundu shabbariyodini. Eyes should extend as per Samudrika Lakshana Shastram. Your eyes should extend till the ears. As per Shastram, eyes should be large, very expressive. You should not spend energy talking. Your eyes should communicate, it seems. Now I collaborate with dancers. What they will do is they will take the collyrium till that end. So, eyes should be large. But you know what Hanuman said, Mata? I will fall short of words. If I say that his eyes are akin to the lotus, the lilies will come and fight with me. Why didn't you compare those eyes to me? Those eyes are beautiful, but they fall beyond our description of words and thoughts. Vachama gocharam. Vachama gochara mahima virajite varaguna bharite vakpati mukha suravandite vasudeva sahajate. Vachama gocharatvam. Sita said, full marks, 100 out of 100. Now you tell me, what proof I have to believe that you have come from Rama? He slowly takes that ring. You know, if some people are born to search. So, he took that ring. Now how should he give? He should give it like this. Sita should take it. No. Look at Ramayanam. If Sita takes it like this, it means it is Bhiksha Mudra. She is accepting alms. Mother should never seek alms from one's son. Son or daughter can seek. Mata, Made, Plavati, Bhiksham, Dehi. Son can ask. Mother should not ask, give me money. The son or daughter should not keep their parents in that position. So Hanuman did not want to give the Anguleeya like this and Sita take it. You know what he did? He kept the ring like this on his palm, so that Sita can take it like this and she doesn't have to beg. Even in the mudra, he was so thoughtful. So then Sita sees that ring. First of all, if it's original. Then she looks at the Ramanamam. Grihitva prekshamanasa bhartukara vibhushanam bhartaram iva samprapta janaki mudita bhavat, tells Valmiki. She was so happy, elated upon receiving that ring. How elated? The poet says, even if Rama was present physically there, she would still choose the ring, it seems. She was that excited. Why? The commentator answers, because this is that ring that was gifted to Rama by her father. Enga appa rendu kuduttar. Modram enna ashadi enna tholachuduthu modrathiyal vechindrukke grihitva prekshamana. Now some of you who know Tamil may be wondering why I am using adu idu. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, it is very common parlance that we say adu idu. Don't think I am being disrespectful. I am not treating them as objects. Second reason, the commentator says, I will just read the Sanskritam commentary for you. You at least listen how commentary, you know what is commentary? Every word should be explained of the shloka. The context has to be explained. Why that shloka? So generally, two-lined verse can have this bigger commentary, this small or this big, or pages together. There is commentary for all the 24,000 shlokas. So if 24,000 shlokas is this much, commentary will be this much. Like that, there are multiple commentaries. Our literature is one ocean. Karavibhushanamithyanena bhogadishayad pranava kope pravritte parasparam alokana bhashanadi virahadashayam kankshite bhashate manatishayena maune krite ramo Anguleeyakam bhumochyavati sma tada vyajena chutam Anguleeyakamiti sitaya abhiheti pranayakopa shaithilyad parasparashleshe bhuyo apyabhut evam ghatakabhutam karavibhushanam bhartaramiva samprapta Anguleeyaka darshanat tasya kantasya karam smrtavatis tat smritya bahutat smaranena tad grahanam. Is the commentary. What does this mean? It seems that while they were living by the banks of river Godavari, one day Vishnu, who is Rama and Sita, wanted to play the game of dice. See, this game of dice, we were all very good leisure people. We have created most of the games in the world. So it is believed that Narayana and Lakshmi play the game of dice in Vaikuntham, and we are those pawns who are moving there. Pashyantishu Shrutishu Paritaha Suribrindenna Sardham Madhye Kritya Triguna Palakam Nirmitasthana Bhedam Vishwadishaha Pranayi Sada Vibhrama Dyuda Vrittaha Brahmeshadya Dadayuveyor Akshasara Pracharam, says Vedanta Deshika. So they will play the dice. So we will be the Jiva Atmas moving from India. He will put us to Maryland. Then the dice, that pawn cannot move for some time. There will be one COVID, one Nagam there. Outside the house we cannot go. So these are all the games played. So it seems Rama was playing with Sita. But Rama was not of the habit of losing, and he didn't know how to lose. But one day it happened so that Sita was winning. He was unable to digest that Sita will be winning. So he did something so that the pawns get scattered, to just say, oh, it just happened like that. He couldn't take that defeat. As he was doing in that due process, he happened to slightly erase the tilakam of Sita. He did like this, something must have happened, that tilakam got erased. Sita was a very senti woman. She got very, very angry with Rama. She stopped talking to Rama. You don't want to lose, you don't lose. But why did you do this to me? So she stopped talking to Rama. 3 days she didn't talk. Rama, for such small things she's getting angry, even I will not talk. 3 days. Now Lakshmana, poor thing, he's doing all the household activities there. He was not aware of what is happening between the two of them. So, see, the same Chembur example, that Mama and Mami, I said they did not talk. Why? I wanted to understand. So then I called that Mami, yeah, Mama, Pam, poor avesle puriya. Why are you not talking to him? She said, see, both of us went to a temple. He as usual left me and started walking in the front. He was not aware that his ears are not functioning. He can't hear. They are just there as toys. It won't work. Defunctioning ears. One man came on in a Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson. He thought this is a democratic country. What if the chain is in Mommy's neck or my neck? And he pulled the chain. I tried calling my mama. He couldn't hear. This man who came to snatch my chain was not aware that he was my husband. He goes a few steps ahead and asks the directions from my husband. And this shameless man, mannerless man, gave him directions. Give me one reason why I should talk to him. So Sita and Rama refused to talk to each other. And Lakshmana was the one who was the shuttle playing between the two. Lakshmana thought, see, I won't interfere in these people. And he said, I'll go to the forest. So Rama couldn't sustain without talking to Sita. So he wanted to create a situation which will coax him to talk to Sita, or Sita will. So he slowly took the ring gifted by Sita's father Janaka and put it into the sands of Godavari. And he said, see, there was only one ring given by Janaka Maharaja, Mama Kurtar. I don't know what happened to that ring. I don't know if somebody is there, let them find it and give. Who is that somebody? Only Sita was there. Sita. My father took so much of pains to save gram by gram through chit and Babu jewelry. Babu jewelry is gone. So, and she said, wait, let me search. And she found that ring. This is here. Oh, you found it. And they started talking. So this has been mentioned in the commentary. That is why Sita feels, when we were separated momentarily for that time, it is this ring which brought us together. And today when we are distances apart, it is the same ring which is bringing us together. Grihitva prekshamana sa bhartukara vibhushanam bhartaram iva samprapta janaki mudita bhavat. As soon as Sita was made happy, Hanuman said, Mata, you sit behind my back. I will tie you on seat belt. From here, I will take you to Bharatadesham. Sita said, no, I will not come. Hanuman said, see, I am giving you an instant top ramen, 2-minute solution. You can come behind me and I'll take you. Sita said, see, I won't come. Give me one reason, Mata. See, Hanuman, if I come behind you and then the demons come behind me, where will you keep me and fight? It is ocean. Where will you keep? I don't know swimming. And Hanuman said, no, Mata, you come, we'll manage. Hanuman, I'll tell you the real reason. If you take me from here, then some of them may say you are going behind a Parapurusha. Some unknown stranger is taking you. One unknown stranger brought you from Bharatadesham to Lanka. Another unknown stranger is taking you from Lanka to Bharatadesham. What was Rama doing? Looking. So, then Hanuman said, there is nothing wrong, Mata. You are like my mother. So many mothers go behind their sons and scooty. What is wrong? She said, see, Rama has to come and seek me. Understand, Hanuman, that with my powers, I can burn Lanka this very moment. Bhasma bhasmarha tejasa or shollina shuduve. I won't do this. I can burn this Lanka, take one boat and come to Bharatadesham and meet Rama. Then nobody will discuss about me in SSVT. Sita went to Lanka, she came by herself. Rama welcomed her with a beautiful bouquet, gave her a huge embrace. There ends the story. Day 8, day 9 will not be there. He has to take the efforts and come and protect me. He is the one who has promised my father, let him do. Mata, I don't know, it is your decision. Please bless me, Mata. Ashta siddhi navanidhi ke data asbar din janaki Mata Ram rasayan tumhare pasa sada raho raghupati ke dasa Ram Lakshmana Sunday before the lecture we have Tadiyaradanam, right? Proper food. Energy itself is not there. Hello, kathin irukken. नाशई रोग हरे सब पीरा बोरक पाडणम जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम भजन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखबारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. So she blessed him. Then he said, Mata, you give me some ornament. She took her gem-studded golden clip called as Chudamani. Chudamani is not the name of our neighboring mommy. Chudamani is the name of the clip. The clip's name mommy is having. So she gave Chudamani. Hanuman accepted it with sheer reverence. And then he said, I am very hungry, Mata. You do whatever you want. For tax purposes, he has brought many kadali phalavanam. You do whatever you want. He started destroying. Monkey, what will he do? Prakritim kapinam, right? So as he started destroying, the Rakshasis couldn't fight this monkey. Super monkey he was. So they brought the son of Ravana called Akshakumara. He killed Akshakumara. Akshahantaram, Mande Lanka, Bhayankaram. So Aksha was killed. Then Indrajit came. Very strong son of Ravana. So the women tried to control Hanuman, they couldn't. So finally Indrajit releases Brahmastram. So Brahma had given a boon, my missile will do no harm to you. Yet Hanuman wanted to respect Brahma, the senior citizen. Why you are calling Brahma senior citizen? Because in most dramas, Brahma alone will have white beard. Perumal with the Gillette shaven face. Brahma alone will get one white beard. Dvitiya Paradhe, Shvetavaraha Kalpe, he's in the second 50 years, right? So Dvitiya Paradhe. So Hanuman wanted to respect Brahma. As a mark of respect, he succumbed to Brahmastram, and there was a thin rope of Brahmastram which tied Hanuman, nothing more. The moment Brahmastram tied Hanuman, these Rakshasis got some courage. They brought the ropes from their house, whatever it was used for the FedEx couriers, Blue Dot couriers, then the bell, everything, all those ordinary ropes they got, and they started tying Hanuman. The moment ordinary rope started tying Hanuman, the Brahmastra rope got itself relieved. Why? If you surrender to Paramapurusha, you should have complete surrender. I will tell him, I will tell 4 other people. If I tell those devatas as a backup for electricity, If he forgets, they will do. No. Tvairakshati rakshakaihi kimanyaihi. If you surrender to the Supreme, Swami, I am surrendering Srimad Narayana Saranam Sharanam Prapade, he will protect you. No. See, suppose he forgets. See, there is one scenario, if he forgets, then we go back up one option, he will leave. Like how Brahmastram left. He was pulled to the court of Ravana. Ravana said, is this the monkey that has got $6 billion loss for us? We have to go to IMF now. In Lanka. Lanka is still coming, right? So he said, kill this monkey. Then Vibheeshana stood up. He said, as per Geneva Convention 1964, you cannot kill the ambassador of any other country. You can punish him. Vibheshana's thought was, I tried advising my brother to leave Sita. He is not listening. The only way is to get him destroyed and killed in the hands of Rama. And the only way to bring Rama to Lanka is when you hurt his most devoted person called Hanuman, then Rama will come here. So he said, you burn his tail. So all the clothes were tied to Hanuman's tail and dipped in pure ghee. Patel brothers ka ghee. And then it was lit. Hanuman's mother was a very, very modern person. She was a social media buff. She said, whatever you get, you share. He started sharing with every possible house, leaving the houses of the pregnant, the woman, the elderly and the children. Every other house started getting burnt. Now, as Hanuman had to fly back, that is when the demonesses came to Sita. That monkey which was talking to you, Sita, we have given him a befitting reply. We have burnt his tail. Yadi kinchit anukroshastasya mayyasti dhimataha yadi va bhagyasesho me shito bhava hanumataha yadi mam vritta sampannam tatsamagamalasam savijanati dharmatma Shito bhava hanumataha yadyasti pati shushrusha yadyasti charitam tavaha yadi va tvekapatni tvam shito bhava hanumataha. If I am a sincere person who has adhered to every rules of being a person of good character, let this minute Hanuman's tail feel the coolness. He felt as if there was sudden AC. On the other hand, Hanuman was flying, then he thought, oh, I have committed a grave mistake. I have come in search of Sita, met with her, took her blessings. Now I have ended up burning the same Lanka where she is. How foolish of me. At that point in time, certain group of people who are used to jumping and flying called Charanas were talking amongst each other. See, the entire Lanka is burning. One Charana is telling the other, except the Simshupa Vriksham where Sita is seated. That very moment, he got relieved. See, life will always throw a lot of questions at us and in us. Answers don't have to come with Narayana coming with Shankham Chakram answering those questions. As you walk, two people will be talking. What they talk may be of a different context. The statement that they make will be relevant to you. This is how divinity answers us. Immediately Krishna will not come with a flute. Gayati Vanamali. We are not Jayadeva or Radha to have Drishyam or Bhattadri. Agre Pashyami Tejo. We are not Bhattadris. We will get answers through the situations that we see around us. Hanuman got. Well, after this happened, these monkeys in Bharata Desham near Tirukurungudi, they were waiting. What happened to Hanuman? They were all tired. See, first of all, they had come on an expedition which was not related to their professional career. Going in search of Sita. What happens to Sita is not their botheration. They have just come because Sugreeva has commanded. Now they have to wait for Hanuman's result. So they got tired. That is when Jambavan, the age-old bear, was waiting. Sarvata kritakaryosav Hanuman natra samshayaha nahyasya kritakaryasya nadayevam vido bhavet. Suddenly they heard a roar, a tremor in the skies. That very minute, Jambavan looked at the monkeys and said, get up, Hanuman has seen Sita. The monkey is looking at Jambavan. Have you seen Hanuman? Did he come and speak? How did you know Hanuman has seen? No, I know from the tone and tenor of this tremor caused by Hanuman that he has seen Sita. How? Your child appears for some competitive exam. Imagine. In India we call it JEE, NEET. There is a GMAT, SAT. SAT comes here. SAT. All these exams. The mother and the father, they bless the child and they said, they are waiting anxiously how the child will come back home. If the child comes back, Mom! That means pass. Mom, pay the fees again. So, the way in which you utter words will determine the outcome of a particular incident. Imagine you've been listening to this lecture, you're going out, it's a Friday, it's an important Friday, Shukravaram, you're going out, somebody is asking, oh, discourse, how was it? Oh, thank God, I came much late. I hope I didn't miss it, they will say. So the way you say determines whether you like the discourse or not. So Hanuman, even without being there, his tremor, the sound that he gave, that emanated from him was enough to understand the outcome of his action. Then Hanuman comes. He should have taken all these monkeys immediately to Rama, correct? Who is housed in Bellari, Kishkinda. He takes him to a vineyard. He takes all these monkeys to a vineyard. Now, fermented liquor. Now, the moment these monkeys saw liquor, they started drinking. One started dancing, one started biting, one started jumping on the other. Gayanti kechit, pranamanti kechit, nrutyanti kechit, prahasanti kechit, patanti kechit, pracharanti kechit, plavanti kechit. Now, one man prevented these monkeys from doing such harm to the vineyard. He was the caretaker of that particular vineyard. His name was Dadhimukha. He was the uncle to Sugreeva. These monkeys pounced upon him, started biting him. This man got severely wounded and he ran to Kishkinda. Sugreeva, look at me. All this was done by your monkeys. Sugreeva, what he should have said, poor Dadimukha, sorry uncle, please get the first aid box and all that. He turned towards Rama and said, Hanuman has seen Sita. Rama was confused. Your uncle is coming wounded and you are telling Hanuman has seen Sita. What connection? He said, without any reason, Hanuman will not party. If there is a party, there has to be a reason. So, Hanuman has seen Sita. Then slowly these monkeys, like a speed breaker that reduces the speed, slowly these come. Hanuman has not had any of the drinks, so he's well aware of what he is, whom he seeks. The moment he enters that hall, Rama is looking at Hanuman's face. He was anxiously waiting because Hanuman has to tell that I've seen Sita. What? How can he trust Sugreeva? Sugreeva is also the same state of the monkeys. Gayanti kechit, pranamanti kechit. So Hanuman has to tell. Hanuman is looking at Rama. Rama is looking at Hanuman. He is just waiting for that magic word. Drishta Sita. Kanden Sitaye. I have seen Sita. Had I been in Hanuman's possession. Just imagine. No? Rama is anxiously waiting. See, I started from Tirukurudi. I will begin. Well, I started, the headwinds were not very good. I had to do a detour towards Kachativu. Then there was Mainaka, Surasa, Simhika, then Lankini, then I went room after room, chamber after chamber, then thought Mandodari to be Sita, then I knew Sita will not be Mandodari. Then I went to Ashokavanam, there I saw Ravana come, he threatened. By the time I arrived at the point, people will know that I am not an eloquent speaker. A speaker is not a one who elucidates for 2 hours, but a person who knows what to talk when. What words to use? What Hanuman needed? Somebody says, I went to Tirupati. Telisa meeku? Alaga? Eppudu? Chappandi. Mama, varnana cheyandi. Give me a vivid description. చెన్నై. అక్కడి నుంచి వాహనం వచ్చింది. I went to the foothills. Then I had Alameru Mangapuram darshanam అయింది. అక్కడి నుంచి శేషాచలం, గరుడాచలం, సింహాచలం, వృషభాచలం, నారాయణాచలం, అంజనాచలాద్రి, శిఖరిమాల, కులస్య, మాయామాళవ గౌడ, సావేరి, సావేరి, సుందర తుంగ, దేవగాంధారి, ధన్యాసి, వేగడ హిందుస్థానీ, కాపీ తోడి, నాటకురించి, శ్రీరాగ సార, అటాణ, సారంగి, దర్బారు, పంతువరాడి, వరాడి, సంజు కాంబోజి, కాంబోజి, హరికల్యాణి, భూరి కళ్యాణి, సంజోటి, కౌమారి, కన్నడ, కరహర ప్రియ, కలహంస, నాదనామక్రియ, ముఖారి తోడి, పున్నాగవరాడి, సంజోటి, కౌమారి, కన్నడ, మేళకర్తారాగం చేసి I took one cottage there. So I didn't get hot water at all first. What was my question? You had darshanam or not? From there I took మార్నింగ్ ఐ వెంట్ టు వైకుంఠ ద్వారం. అక్కడి నుంచి ఒక్కొక్క స్థలంగా వెళ్ళి భూహు భువః సువః మహః జనః తపః సత్యం. దెన్ ఐ క్రాస్ ద బ్రిడ్జ్, ఐ వెంట్ అలాంగ్ ద టెంపుల్ వాల్, ఐ క్రాస్ ద గోపురం, క్రాస్ ద రంగమంటపం, క్రాస్ ద ధ్వజస్తంభం, క్రాస్ వరదరాజ స్వామి సన్నిధి. దెన్ ఐ వెంట్ టు స్వామివారు సన్నిధి. దేర్ ఐ సా గరుడ, ద్వారపాలకాస్, కులశేఖరాళ్వార్ పడి. దెన్ ఐ వెంట్ దేర్ అండ్ క్లోజ్డ్ మై ఐస్. ప్రశ్నమేమి దర్శనం అయిందా? ఉత్తరం లేదు. అదే కదా. సో స్పీక్ వాట్ ఈస్ రెలెవెంట్. దృష్టా సీత. Look how communication skills is taught to us. You don't have to go to the Ross school. Probably you can go to a Cornell, you can go to a Ross. The second semester will have a course called as negotiation skills, organizational behavior, Maslow's hierarchy, all this SWOT analysis. But look at how communication skills is taught for free. Right? But we believe that what comes for free will have no value. We have to spend a lot of money, go there and learn the same thing. Communication, speak when you're spoken to, speak the relevant words. Drishta Sita, we won't know. Drishta Sita, contain Sitaye. In Tamil, the word is contain Sitaye. See, grammatically, when we do a sentence, right, we have a subject and a predicate. This is what we have learned in grammar, right? Rennacharya and Martinacharya have taught that way. Subject plus predicate. Predicate will become verb plus object. S plus V plus O. Object will become indirect object, direct object. These are the formulae, right? In that, verb can take any form. For example, see, to see. There is a gerund and an infinitive, right? So seeing, saw. Saw is you go to the past and then say, I saw. So the verb and there is a subject. How do you write the sentence? I saw Sita. Correct? But in Sanskritam there is a unique thing. You don't have to use I. The verb will tell whether it is I or you. You're getting my point? Saw, if I tell in English, saw. Come on, tell me who saw? You saw, I saw. So that saw verb cannot convey who saw this. You need to tell whether I saw, you saw, he saw, she saw. Whereas in Sanskritam, if I say, for example, you say bhuktosmi or bhujami, or for example panosmi. These words means I ate, I drank. Pujasi. So that will become you. You don't have to use that subject there. The Prathama Purusha or Madhyama Purusha doesn't have to come there. Now, that is point number 1. For example, we say Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami. So Karishyami, I am starting, but that I is not there. But the verb Karishyami indicates Aham. Getting the point? Now, Drishta Sita, contain Sitaye. Why? You can also say Sitaye contain. Correct? Sita was seen, but grammatically it may be correct, but situation wise it is wrong. I'll tell you why. I can take 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So in Nyaya Shastram in Sanskritam there is something called Ayoga Vyavachedam and Anya Yoga Vyavachedam. I'm not getting very deep, just one information. Ayoga Vyavachedam and Anya Yoga Vyavachedam. For example, I say, I don't know how to speak, give this example in English. Partha eva dhanurdharaha. Partha eva dhanurdharaha. What does that mean? Partha alone is an archer. Correct? Partha eva dhanurdharaha. What does that mean? Partha eva dhanurdharaha alone. Partha alone means nobody besides Partha can call himself an archer. Correct? Partha alone means, no Swami, the person next to my house, Fleps. No, Fleps cannot be an archer. Partha eva dhanurdharaha. Correct? Partha dhanurdhara eva. Partha is an archer alone. What does that mean? So, if you have been thinking that Partha is a doctor or an auditor, no. Partha is an archer alone, which means he is only an archer. He does not do any other profession. But if I say Partha eva dhanurdharaha, nobody else but Partha is a dhanurdhara. So that eva matters. This is called ayoga vyavachedam and aniyoga vyavachedam. Now, if Rama had sent on a search mission, Hanuman, you have to go and search for Sita, Geeta, Vani, Rani, Hemamalini. All these people you have to search. Then if Hanuman was able to spot only Sita out of the 5 people, then he has to come and say, Sita I saw. Which means I did not see Geeta, Hemamalini, Vani and Rani. Correct? But the mission was to go in search of Sita only. There was nobody else. So Sita is not important there. Seeing is important. You're getting my point? So the mission is only 1x. The variable is only 1, which is x. There is no second variable. So you cannot come with a simultaneous equation there. It is x alone. Only when there is y, you can come up with a simultaneous equation. You can say 2x plus y is this. So there is only one variable there. So what is the value of that variable is more important than its counterpart. Algebraic definition I am giving. So Sita I saw will be relevant only if he goes in search of Sita and Geeta. He has gone in search of Sita alone. So seeing is more important than Sita, because imagine if Hanuman had gone and searched for Sita and couldn't find her, even then the sentence can begin like this. Sitayai parkavillai. You can begin and say, Sita, I didn't see. Then Rama may still get an attack there. So what is more important? The verb takes more prominence than the subject. So it is verb which comes first. Saw Sita, not Sita I saw. You're getting my point? How Hanuman is a grammarian there? I don't know if I've given you this example of how poets were. See, when most nations didn't exist, we were talking about verb, subject, predicate, direct object, indirect object and all of that. I'll give you an example. Kalidasa was a great poet, no doubt. In every newspaper, first page there will be news about Kalidasa. But there were other poets also who existed alongside Kalidasa who were great poets. One was Dandi. Dandi was also a great poet, but he was absolutely frustrated with the thought that journalists are coming only Kalidasa on page 1. Dandi's news will come on page number 14 in the law small section. So Dandi got really frustrated. He said, let us now go and find who amongst us is a greater poet. So Kalidasa and Dandi walked to the house of an age-old great poet who was seen to be the arbitrator or the judge there. His name was Bhavabhuti. So this Kalidasa goes and Dandi also goes. They were good friends. Don't think they were some evil people who were fighting. They were just rivals, that's all. So they reached the door of Bhavabhuti and they knock at the door. A little girl of maybe say 4-5 years comes and opens the door. She says, Namaste. Very happy to have you as guests. My grandfather Bhavabhuti has just gone out. He may be coming in some time. Could you please sit? So in traditional houses in India, the architecture was you will have raised platforms on either side of the entry door outside the house. It was called Tinnai in Tamil. You don't have to bring the guest inside at all. You could entertain them very well there and say bye and leave them. So on one side of the raised platform sat Kalidasa and on the other sat Dandi. Now the girl, she wanted to be hospitable, 4.5 years of age. So she asked, Sir, what could I bring for you? You tell me what I could bring. You know what Kalidasa said? Patrani Swarna Varnani Karnam Tayaja Lochane. Patrani, get me leaves. Swarna Varnani, BT modified golden beetle leaves. Patrani Swarna Varnani Karnantaya Lochane. Oh, the girl who has got eyes that extend till the ears. Patrani Swarna Varnani. What did he say? Oh, the girl with ears extending till the eyes extending till the ears, golden beetle leaves. This is all he said. Then she had to ask Dandi, what should I get? He said, Turnam Aniyatam Churnam Purnachandra Nibhanane. Turnam, immediately. Aniyatam Churnam, get to me, bring to me the Churnam. You apply Churnam on beetle leaves, right? Purna Chandra Nibhanane. Oh, the girl with a face, a countenance that looks like a full moon. Please bring to me Churnam. If you're giving beetle leaves, you need Churnam. So this girl said, okay. And she went inside. Then Bhavabhuti is coming. He didn't realize that these two men were seated outside. He saw the main door open and his girl was bringing beetle leaf and Churnam. Whom are you bringing this for? She said, Kavayaha Kalidasaya Dandinaha Panditasya cha. I am bringing this for the great poet Kalidasa and the grammarian called as Dandi. These people said, judgment given. They had come to the... Why? Look at the point. If you're a poet, you will be concerned about the emotion and not the grammar. Kalidasa did not use a verb. He said, beetle, golden colored beetle leaves. Oh, the girl with ears that, eyes that extend till the ears. He didn't say, oh, the girl with eyes that extend till the ears. Bring to me the beetle leaves. He spoke like a poet. The girl with eyes that extend till the ears. Golden colored beetle leaves. This is all he said. Whereas his Dandi said, please bring to me. He spoke like a pure grammarian. Subject, verb, predicate. So she said, he is a poet and this man is a grammarian. Look at the way language evolved in those days. So here that is very important. Now Rama comes here. There was a great poet around the 17th century, even before the trinity of classical music. He was called Arunachala Kavi. He tells what was Hanuman's reaction while he met Rama. Panikala varijam pola niram kushi pagaloru yugamaga kaditale prayasi ninaitange ravanan annan vara chi chi nillada என்று ஏசி தனித்து தன் உயிர் தன்னை தாங்கிய மகராசி சாரும் போதே நாளும் சமயமீதே வாசி இனி தாமதம் செய்யும் ஆகாதிட பேசி ராமா 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 என்று எதிர்பேசி கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா. I saw a lady who was not a lady in our format, Rama. She was a personification of how blemishless a human being can get. Kandanan karpinukku aniyai kangalal irpirappu enbadonnum karpu ena payaradonnum kalinadam puriya kandeen. Then he said, Rama, just being one Sita, she manages to uplift the legacy of so many people. Unkulam unnadaki uyarpugalku urutiyaya tankulam tannadaki tannai ittanimai seidan vankulam kuchukku ஈண்டு வானவர் குலத்தை வாழ்வித்து என் குலம் எனக்கு தந்தாள் என்னினி செய்வது எம்மோய். By just being one Sita with that rigidity that you should come and rescue her, she is bound to cause a damage to the legacy of the demons. She is bound to bring happiness to the legacy of the celestials. She, by bringing a woman of the best character, she is bringing good grace to the legacy of her father and her father-in-law. Well, Rama, she causes beauty into all legacies, but that is not great, Rama. She has given my legacy back to me. What did he mean? Hanuman meant, see, I am a monkey. A monkey by nature is supposed to be indecisive. Correct? Whether should I take this or that, whether should I eat this or that, should I do that or not, should I do that or not. So it's very indecisive. That is the nature of a monkey. Till I met Rama, who's you, I was indecisive. I was a monkey. I carried the legacy of a monkey. I thought whether he is the Lord, that person is the Lord, whether this is the one whom I should worship. The moment I saw you, Rama, I thought you are the one whom I should worship. So I lost the nature of being a monkey. I became decisive. But the moment I saw Sita, I got indecisive, thinking that it is not you that I should worship. I should end up worshipping her. So this nature of being indecisive, she has given me back. Yenkulam yenakku thandal yennini seivadi emmoi. At that point in time, Rama said, Hanuman, come here. The monkeys were focusing. He's going to give him Kohinoor. Something very precious. The TV channels, live coverage started zooming in. Something precious Rama is going to give. Rama said, Hanuman, come here. Hanuman, out of humility, went closer to Rama. Hanuman, right now, I am not ruling Ayodhya. Even if I were to rule for a moment, I cannot give Ayodhya and tell this is a match for the service you have rendered. Your service is priceless and matchless. I have nothing in me or nothing with me to present you for the service that you have rendered. I can just do one thing. Apara para vara parikha parivrita parapura parasruta davadahana javana pavana bhavakapivara parishvanga bhavita sarvasvadana. I can just give you a heartfelt hug. This is the only thing that I can give you, Hanuman. And Hanuman said, what more do I require? So, and then he presented Chudamani of Sita, and Rama accepts it. And then he has to launch his mission to go to Lanka. That will be covered in about 6,000 shlokas, 6,000 plus shlokas in the massive Yuddha Kandam in 2 days, which is tomorrow and the day after. Tomorrow the lecture will be between 3 and 5 p.m. Vibheeshana Sharanagathy, the pinnacle of Sharanagathy Shastram as propounded by Vedanta Deshika and Ramanuja. Then comes day 9, which is the day after, Sunday, 3 to 5 again. It will be Sri Rama Pattabhishekam. So I'm sure a lot of you, ranging from all ages, the youngest to the oldest, you've all been attending. This is sheer devotion that you have towards this ancient civilization. This is ample proof for that. Weekdays, we had such a big crowd. So even the temple authorities were not sure, so was I not. And we were covering it live. There are many people watching live, but I understand people are coming from distances to attend to a Ramayana Navaham, which just proves how great Valmiki's Kavyam is surviving after years together. So tomorrow and the day after, sure there's a weekend, a lot of you will bring in a lot more people. And please do come tomorrow and the day after, before the Upanyasam, between 11 and 1 or 2, I believe, there is going to be Mahaprasadam, Annadanam that day. So all of you can partake in that particular religious event. Give 1 hour gap, have tea, and then come to Upanyasam. So after food, immediately if you come to Upanyasam, I'll ask questions in the middle. Okay? So tomorrow and the day after, hope to see you all. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubham Astu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kayena Vasa Manasendreva Buddhyatmanava Prakriti Svabhava Karomi Yatyat Sakaram Shri Narayana Samarpayami. Namaskar.